The idea of managing your finances and planning ahead for the future sends a lot of us into a tailspin. But Nick Charalambous of Alpha Wealth says it doesn't need to be a frightening experience, as there are people you can talk to about the best course of action to take. People like the 8 financial advisors currently employed by Alpha Wealth. Nick, hello, good to talk to you again.
Hi, Jonathan. Absolutely good to talk to you too.
We talked the last time about cryptocurrency, and I'm going to come back to that because a lot has changed in that space. But there's more to your business than cryptocurrency, and you've had a busy year.
We have, Jonathan. So I suppose financial services as an industry has expanded as people have become more cognizant and conscious of their finances. And really, there's a lot more, as you say, that we do than just investments, and particularly in relation to things like cryptocurrencies. So it has been a really busy year. This year more so than any other of 25 years that I've operated as a financial advisor.
Have you noticed any change in the people coming through the door looking for your advice? Are they more worried than they were before? Are they more focused? Are they less focused?
You get a whole, I suppose, range of people at different stages of their financial cycles. So what I have found is that there are those, especially online, because we are doing more, obviously, in the kind of online platform now, that are very conscious of making provisions for the future, and typically by virtue of, I suppose, more education, perhaps from the background and the likes of, I suppose, television now, where people like Owen McGee are, making people more aware of their finances. It's been great for our industry because we are finding that people are more prepared to talk about things. Historically, I think people were kind of almost afraid to mention finances in front of others, whereas now I think it's a much more open forum. So, but over the last few months, there has been more concern around, rising inflation, obviously rising energy costs, but at the same time, people are, maybe trying to take a bit more control than previously.
If you have money, of course, those inflationary pressures aren't too bad, because higher interest rates mean you get more for what you invest. The stock market is a different beast, but there are different options for people who want to do different things.
There are, Jonathan, and interestingly, as you say, interest rates are rising, which is a concern to mortgage holders. And again, that's an area of advice that we help people with. But for those people that do have money, and it's not, as I said, just around kind of the traditional investments, we are advising clients to make sure that they're balanced, which is one of the biggest things that we try and help our clients with. We find that, clients generally have a sense of what they should do, and it's just making sure that they put their money in the appropriate manner in the right pots. So whether it's a pension fund, whether it's investing in, a tax saving scheme, or indeed some of these kind of liquid investments through the insurance companies, it's given them the options and information to make an informed decision. But one thing we have not seen so far, unfortunately, is that the Irish banks have not yet started to add interest to deposit account holders' monies yet. And I think they're going to be quite slow to do that.
Oh, I can't imagine why they'd be slow to do that, can you? You're down in Little Island, and you're hoping to expand a lot next year. What have you planned?
So we've just recently moved offices in Little Island, and it's a great hub for us because, we're surrounded by some of the biggest, I suppose, international companies of the world. PepsiCo have their headquarters here, as do Eli Lilly. The company has grown, and, thankfully what we're doing now is we're actually hiring people remotely. So we've been going through a process of finding good advisors and administrators just to add to the team. But that will give us more of a footprint into other markets. So we are looking to try and open an office in Dublin shortly, and hopefully in other areas around the country.
When you look at your background, I know you have a Cypriot background, but you were raised and educated in London. You're looking at your colleagues who are working there now, dealing with every bit of nonsense that Brexit has thrown their way. Are you happier to be based here in Cork, dealing where you are, rather than some of your UK colleagues who I know have had a really difficult time of late?
Yeah, it's a really good point. So absolutely, I enjoy working in Ireland. It's a smaller market, but I find it to be more personable, especially based in Cork. There is a more of a colloquialism here as well. But one of the things that we've definitely benefited from is, I suppose, the national reach, which has been helped through COVID, but certainly the UK has been a very difficult, challenging market. I still have quite a few friends there operating in the financial services industry. And whilst we might see them as being very well paid individuals, it's been a fairly horrific time with a lot of uncertainty, and it creates its own layer of problems as well.
Now, we did talk about cryptocurrencies last time we spoke, which was about a year ago. At the time, I think crypto was flying high. Of course, it has sank below what might have been expected to be the low point. You were urging caution at the time and people to tread carefully. What's your advice now for cryptocurrencies? Is to stay a million miles away from it right now?
The crypto space has really been challenged, and it's unfortunate to the fact that a lot of people did find interest in it because of the euphoria and I suppose the online marketing monster that it created. But thankfully, I suppose I was a little bit skeptical when we spoke last year, and I still remain very skeptical. People are now saying, look, is now the right time to get into cryptos? But the issue I have, and I think I said this on the last call, is that when you look at your situation, your financial situation, and you have to be cognizant of the risk that you take in any aspect of your finances, cryptos will always be on the very high end of that scale. I think I refer to 1 to 7, 1 being low risk, 7 being high risk, and cryptos being 8 on the scale. So that hasn't changed. Regardless of how it performed, I could be here today and look poorly if cryptos had risen hugely with my sense of caution a year ago. But it's not really about how it performed over the last year. It's more about the fact that it really isn't something for most people in terms of their situation. And that I always say to people, look, make sure that you've got other bases covered. Make sure you're taking advantage of tax opportunities like your pension before you look at the other options that are out there.
Yeah.
But again, like that, Jonathan, for all of us, someone invests in a very, very small proportion of a large portfolio, I have no issue to. But somebody who's put in all of their investment monies into one asset class and indeed into one coin, that just blatantly doesn't make sense.
What's the website, Nick, if people want to look you up?
It's alphawealth.ie, Jonathan. And there's some really good videos and webinars that we have done that are completely free to download. And obviously people are more than welcome to contact us if they do just want a little bit of steer.
Okay, alphawealth.ie. Nick Charalambous, Managing Director of Alpha Wealth. Thanks so much for joining us.